'Cause we're all in this now, but our dreams can come true. Sustain our sound, GRCB needs you. All in this now, but our dreams can come true. Sustain our sound, GRCB needs you. Sustain our sound, make it loud. Help us keep up the fight. GRCB alright. Help us keep up the fight.
Hello, I'm Tiffany. I'm going to talk about some tips on holding the bass and playing so that you feel more comfortable, and we'll go through a couple different exercises so that you can start rocking. Before we get started, to let you know a little bit more about myself, I've been supporting Girls Rock Campaign Boston for the past few years, instrument instructing and band coaching at the youth summer program and the adult weekend program in the spring. I've been playing bass for the past 16 years. I learned bass through being in various rock bands that have recorded and gigged, and also through school. I have my bachelor's degree in music, where electric bass is my primary instrument. I've played in chamber, jazz, contemporary art music ensembles. I also play guitar, piano, ukulele, and sing. My main active project right now is a bit of a solo project called Tiffy, where I'm the principal songwriter and I do a lot of the recording and production. When doing live shows, I play guitar and sing. And I also play bass in local Boston band Mint Green. So feel free to check those out on the internet, and it would be awesome to see anyone a part of the community at a show once we're all allowed to go outside again. But yeah, I'm so excited that you are here and you want to rock and you're a part of the community, and it's going to be great. So what we need to get started is just your bass, a way to hear your bass in the video, and if you want to take down any notes while watching, feel free. First thing I want to talk about when getting comfortable with your bass is finding the best position for you. So whether you're sitting or standing, you want to find the best position that supports your arms, your back, and your upper body so you're not tense while you're playing. You're using those areas of your body the most when you're playing, so you want to reduce the amount of strain and tension you're putting on them. For me, if I'm sitting or standing, I usually aim to have the bass position at my upper chest so I can rest my right forearm comfortably on the body and my left arm is able to move without straining any part of my arm or my shoulder, and I feel like I'm not doing any sort of big movements. And if you're a lefty, then what I'm saying, the opposite is true. And then as you can see, when I stand, it's still in this relative position as when I'm sitting. So when I'm sitting, it kind of comes up a little bit more, but it's kind of stays in this general area. This doesn't have to be how you have to have it. This is just really comfortable for me, and you just don't want to create tension in your body while holding it. So spend a few minutes finding a playing position that's comfortable for you. And I also recommend thinking about where like your strap is positioned and how that feels as well. Also, the type of chair you're sitting in, make sure it's at a good level so your whole body feels supported as you're holding the bass. The other two things I will talk about for comfortably playing the bass is what your left hand is doing and what your right hand is doing. So with our left hand, we want to keep a relaxed hand that lets our fingers move easily down the fretboard so you don't feel like you're fighting your hand to press down the notes, and it keeps it in a neutral position so we're not straining our wrist. I keep my thumb right at the middle of the back of the neck, and as I'm moving along the neck, it stays relatively in the same position. So depending on how it feels in your hand and the size of your hand, your thumb might sit a little below or above the middle, but the important thing is that it's anchoring your left hand, so it stays at the level as you move up and down the neck, and this will prevent you from wearing out your left hand and your wrist. When playing a note, I aim to keep my hand in this position. My fingers are hovering a little bit above the strings, and they're all curved in, ready to press down on any notes. And when I play a note, I want my finger to return to the same level position and not have it come up too big, you know, or have my hands kind of spread out. Keep everything right where it was, and not be too close to the strings either so you don't create any unnecessary buzzing. And the last tip with your left hand is when you're playing, strive to alternate the fingers per fret as best as you can, so you're not kind of wearing out one finger over the other. With our right hand, the same thing. You want your shoulder to be relaxed, your right forearm resting on the body. If you're playing with a pick, you can get right on the strings, so your forearm is resting on this part of the body, your shoulder relaxed. This will help keep your wrist and hand from overstraining and doing excess movement. And if you're playing with your fingers, you can have your arm come back a little, so if your forearm is resting right on the edge of the body and you have more distance for your fingers to move, you can rest your thumb on the pickup, the pick guard, or the top of the string. Whatever's more comfortable for you. I'm pretty comfortable on the pickup, but I end up alternating sometimes between them. It's usually good when you're first starting out to just pick one area though where your thumb's gonna stay, so then you know it's always there and it's one less thing to think about. Use your whole upper body when playing. And when first starting out, sometimes we're not thinking so much about this and not addressing any strain or discomfort, or just not realizing. And then it comes back and hurts us later, or it just might seem discouraging. So just know that there is a way to play bass for anyone, so it's comfortable. And part of that process is just checking in with your body and making sure it feels good when you're playing, and then adjusting your holding or playing position, and make sure where you're sitting or standing, you're sitting up straight, you're not too slouched over, or you want to just feel like you have a balanced center. So you might need to shift the position of your legs so they feel more firm on the ground, or elevate one or the other to make sure you're just as comfortable and supported by your lower body as well. Our first exercise is a really good one for practicing playing in a steady position, and it makes a really great warm-up exercise because we're going to keep our hand in position, and then on each string we're going to play the open string, and then the first fret, and then the second fret, and then the third fret, and then the fourth fret. And we're going to also alternate our index and our middle finger while playing each note. So a really common rock chord progression is C, D, E minor, and G. That's what the little M stands for, is minor, and these are all called major chords. And each one is usually held out for 4 counts, and it's in its own measure or bar, and it's a 4-bar progression. And usually these types of progressions, they just kind of loop these same 4 chords, and that makes up a lot of common rock and pop songs. So a lot of times chords are played on piano or guitar. The bass will play kind of single notes within the chord to support the harmony and the melody of the song. So 3 different ways that we can play this chord progression are: we will play the notes C, D, E, and G, and those notes are the way we'll play it, and you can find other ways to play it too on the fretboard, but I'll just show you this way, which is we'll play the 3rd fret on the A string, which is the second string down, and then we'll play D as the 5th fret of the A string, which is the 2nd string down, and then we'll play E as the open string top, and then we'll play G as the 3rd fret of the open top string. So the first way we'll play it is we'll hold out each note, we'll strike each note and hold it out for 4 counts. So we'll hold it out for the length of the measure. So it'll sound like this. Second way we'll play it is we'll play each note 4 times. So we'll play it on each count within the measure. So it'll sound like this. And the third way we'll play it is we will sort of speed up the rhythm, and we'll play each note 8 times within the measure. So it'll sound like this. I'll see you at the next video where we're gonna learn the bass line for 2 new songs that use this common root chord progression, and we're gonna rock out some more.
Because we're all in this